Hello, everyone. Are you ready for a new adventure? Let's go. In a lush green forest, deep in the heart of its greenery, lived a mighty lion named Leo. His roar shook the trees, and his presence commanded respect from all the animals in the forest. But Leo wasn't just fierce, he was also kind, always ready to help those in need. One day, while on a hunting expedition, Leo came across an injured bear. The bear had fallen into a deep ravine and couldn't get out. Without hesitation, Leo jumped into the ravine to help the bear. Despite their natural rivalry, Leo's inherent kindness took over. He grabbed the bear by the scruff of its neck and pulled it out of the ravine, much to the bear's gratitude. The bear, whose name was Benny, was initially hesitant to accept help from his sworn enemy, but Leo's act of kindness changed his perspective. He realized that not all lions were like the ones that had bothered him in the past. As a token of his appreciation, Benny invited Leo to his cave for some honey. This was a rare gesture since bears are notoriously private about their food and their caves. But Benny's heart was full of gratitude towards Leo, so he didn't hesitate to accept Leo's invitation. When they reached Benny's cave, they found a delightful surprise waiting for them. Benny's two children were there with a bunch of forest animals, all gathered to welcome Leo. The little cubs, overjoyed at the prospect of having a lion friend, immediately started playing with Leo, who was happy to make new friends. Meanwhile, Benny prepared a feast of honey and berries for Leo, showing his appreciation for the rescue operation. From that day forward, Leo and Benny became the best of friends. They spent their days playing with the cubs and exploring the forest, and their evenings sharing stories and enjoying each other's company. One evening, as the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the forest floor, Leo decided to share a story about his adventures outside the green forest. He spoke of vast plains, tall mountains, and sparkling rivers, all places he'd seen beyond the familiar greenery of his home. Benny and his cubs listened with rapt attention, their eyes wide with wonder as Leo painted vivid pictures with his words. For them, the world beyond the forest was a realm of fantasy, something they'd only heard about in stories. "I want to see those places," whispered Benny's youngest cub, his voice filled with awe. "Me too," said his sister, her eyes shining with excitement. Over the years, Leo had traveled far and wide, seeing many wonders that the world had to offer. He'd crossed scorching deserts, climbed snow-capped mountains, and swam across raging rivers. And now he was sharing these experiences with Benny's cubs, sparking a thirst for adventure in their young hearts. They peppered Leo with questions, each answer fueling their desire to explore the world beyond their forest home. As the cubs listened, their imaginations ran wild. They envisioned themselves crossing vast deserts, climbing high mountains, and swimming in swift rivers, their spirits soaring with the thrill of imagined adventures. After the cubs went to sleep, Benny turned to Leo and said, "Your stories have awakened a desire for adventure in our cubs, Leo. I can see that they're not content with just living in the forest anymore. They want to see the world." Leo nodded understandingly. He knew that feeling well. At one time, he too had been restless, yearning to explore beyond the confines of his familiar territory. "What do you suggest we do, Leo?" Benny asked, turning to his old friend for advice. "I believe their desire to explore is a sign they're ready to grow, to see the world and learn from it," Leo replied thoughtfully. "But I'm worried about their safety," Benny admitted, his voice heavy with concern. "The world outside this forest can be dangerous for cubs, especially without a strong bear by their side." Leo understood Benny's worries. The world was indeed full of dangers, but he also knew that life wasn't just about protecting oneself, it was also about embracing challenges and learning from them. "I agree that they shouldn't go alone," Leo said, his voice firm with resolve. "But instead of shielding them from the world, why not guide them? We could take them on a journey, teaching them how to navigate the world safely." Benny looked at Leo, surprised by his friend's suggestion. It had never occurred to him that someone, especially a lion, would want to help his children become stronger and more independent. "You're right, Leo," Benny finally said, a smile spreading across his face. "I think I was wrong. It's time for them to see the world and learn from it. And with you by our side, Leo, I know they'll be in good hands." And so the four of them set off on an incredible journey. Leo, the wise and experienced adventurer, Benny, the protective and loving father, and the two curious cubs, each eager to discover the world around them. As they ventured forth, the forest seemed to shrink behind them, replaced by endless possibilities that lay ahead. Their journey was filled with challenges and discoveries. They traversed dense jungles where the cubs marveled at the vibrant colors and exotic sounds. They crossed rushing rivers, climbed rocky mountains, and trekked through vast plains. All the while, Leo shared his knowledge of the world, teaching the cubs how to read the stars, track animals, and survive in the wilderness. Benny, too, had much to offer, his strength and courage reassuring the cubs whenever they faced danger. One day they found themselves in a dense jungle, the air thick with humidity and the sound of insects. The cubs, fascinated by the vibrant colors and lush vegetation, wandered off the path, eager to explore. "Stay close to the path," Leo called out to them, his voice echoing in the stillness of the jungle. "This place is full of wonders but also dangers." Despite Leo's warning, the cubs, with their youthful exuberance, ventured deeper into the jungle. Suddenly they heard a loud crash and saw a huge elephant charging towards them, its tusks raised in the air. Fear froze the cubs in their tracks, their eyes wide with terror. But before the elephant could reach them, a powerful roar echoed through the jungle. The elephant froze in its tracks, its ears fanning out as it tried to locate the source of the sound. In a flash, Leo appeared beside the cubs, his teeth bared in a snarl. The sight of the lion sent shivers down the elephant's spine, and it turned tail and disappeared into the undergrowth. As the cubs looked up at Leo in awe, realizing the depth of their debt, their admiration for their friend knew no bounds. As their journey continued, the cubs grew under Leo's guidance and Benny's watchful eye. They learned valuable lessons about courage, resilience, and the importance of friendship. One evening, as they sat around a campfire, the cubs recounted the day's adventures, their laughter echoing through the stillness of the night. "We couldn't have done it without you, Leo," the youngest cub said, his voice filled with gratitude. "You were so brave when you scared away that elephant." Leo smiled. "It was nothing, really. I'm just glad you're safe." As the fire crackled merrily, Benny turned to Leo and said, "My friend, I am grateful to you for everything you've done for my cubs. They are stronger and wiser thanks to your guidance." Leo, touched by Benny's words, simply nodded in response. He too had grown through this experience, rediscovering the joy of friendship and the fulfillment that came with helping others. And so their journey continued, each day bringing new challenges and new learnings. But through it all, their bond of friendship only grew stronger, proving that even the fiercest of rivals could become the closest of friends, and that the greatest adventures were best shared with those you loved.